The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 9th day of December, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sherry, Thursday, one day closer to another day off. How you feeling, sister?
Yay! I'm excited. It's Thursday.
Keep your excitement levels down, please. Please keep your excitement levels down.
Now I'm feeling good this morning. Jamal had a pretty good sleep, busted out my week, so I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you
You
the name.
didn't notice?
Yeah. Huh?
Okay.
No,
You
I'm
didn't
more.
notice?
Yeah, but I'm stuck on the name. You and Leanna have names for things that we'll leave to
Yeah.
another conversation. Yeah. No, I'm
Plenty of women have names for their weeks, Jamal. Trust
yeah, I
me.
know what's her name? Tabitha Brown has name. She calls her here. I can't remember. But anyway, feeling much better. Went me 2 miles this morning, about 10 minutes a mile. So much better today, feeling energy. So shout out to Mama Hartman if she's tuned in, and good morning to James Birch. Good morning to Karen Edwards Simmons and Sam Cat Place. What do you mean? No, he didn't. What did I do this early in the show? I don't. You're all picking on me already. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as we welcome the Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Peets, to the show. We're talking about the National Youth Plan. The Daily Play is it's more Christmas trivia, but we have a very important conversation that we're going to waste no time in getting into this morning. So I'm just going to put the question out there and then we'll talk about it. Usually we do it the opposite way around. Should people allow the police to do their job before going to social media? Now, Sherry, what's been going on the last 2 nights is there was a gentleman who went to a home in Bermuda, right? And basically he was doing his job, right? Liberty, Ascendant, Belco, whatever the hell the damn company is called these days, right? He was contracted to a company working on their behalf, right?
Yes.
And what's been going on social media is so unfortunate, right? But let's give some context. Let's give some context. I see actually both sides, and I'm speaking as a black man that doesn't appreciate being discriminated against. I just don't. But it's something that we're more often than likely, especially in these United States, to be discriminated against because of your race or complexion. However, I think we have a problem and we need to find balance in Bermuda. Why is it a problem and why do we need to find balance? Because just 3 weeks ago, if that, we were talking about a home invasion of an elderly woman in St. George, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So someone saw a gentleman come to their door. Basically, most of us saw the video. If you didn't, we will not share it here because at the end of the day, this gentleman has already been through enough in regards to that. But there was a video that she caught on her camera that she shared, and then a WhatsApp that went around that I saw in a few group chats speaking that there's a gentleman going around the island claiming he's from that company, Belco, the utilities company, and they're trying to get in. So the question to the audience, based on this happening, should people allow the police to do their job before going to social media? Because this young gentleman, I mean, his face was obvious to most people. You know, some people recognize him. Reputation, right? Did Balco drop the ball about not telling people that this was happening, right? Did the young man drop the ball by not taking off his helmet and probably looking presentable to this person? Or is the person who ran to social media or WhatsApp or however they done it guilty, or are all three parties guilty of some form of bad behavior? But question, should people allow the police to do their jobs before running to social media? What are your thoughts, Sherry?
Well, when I looked at the video, at first I had seen a message come through written indicating that this had happened, right? Somebody had read it. And then I saw the video. So when I watched the video, I honestly was expecting something else. So you see him go to the doorbell. So I'm listening, I'm turning it off, and I'm just like, well, he doesn't look suspicious. Like, what is, anybody who I think is trying to break into something is very fidgety, all up in the door, trying to open it, this, not another. If nothing else, he took safety precautions, rang the doorbell, and stepped back from it and began to communicate. I'm not sure if it was through the ring, the video camera, or through the window, into very elaborate instructions of what he was trying to do. So I don't know. When I looked at it, I was like, that was it. This is what was saying is going on. But to your point, yes, being dressed appropriate, not wearing your helmet. It was said that he did show her proof of what he was looking for. I just thought he did a whole lot to be trying to make entry into the household at some point. The other part is, yes, I think, they should have sent something out and indicated that, there's going to be certain gentlemen that's going to be coming around who don't have uniforms.
And when you say something else, I mean, there was a press release, I guess, or something that was shared in July. But when I want to emphasize this, though, because putting something, not everyone reads the news, listens to the news, or tunes in where they may have see that information. So if you know that this person is going to go to a certain neighborhood or house, you can easily communicate with them. I'm pretty sure you have ways of communicating with each one of your customers. But Sherry, we didn't give context about what the text said. So let's go through the text so that people who may not know what's going on have some context. So the WhatsApp that I received says, "Hi everyone, be extra vigilant. Someone came to our house yesterday posing as a Belco worker. His line was, quote, 'I am looking for a transformer on your property,' end quote. He does not follow Belco protocol for visiting homes," I don't know what that is, "and was not wearing a mask. Belco informed us that he does not work for them, and we filed a police report. We also have him on camera. Keep safe," and I'll leave the name out. The person went on to say he was wearing black jeans, a black puffy coat, and kept his helmet on. Underneath the helmet, he wore a red bandana. All right.
He didn't have a mask on, Jamal. But, I will say in context to that, and if it is exactly what it says to be true, and you call Belco to check to see if this was necessarily correct, and they indicated not, then that's a problem.
Well, on July 9th, 2021, this is in our hands as well. It looks like a press release. To whom it may concern, this letter serves to confirm IFM is performing an island-wide audit of the condition of every vault and substation that houses Belco's high voltage equipment. While doing so, IFM employees will need to visit the relevant properties and assess the condition of each building. Belco is committed to doing our best to ensure the safety of landowners and the public at large, right? So now let's go to a Liberty press release that came, and it is not... Okay, yeah, it's dated December 8, 2021. Liberty Group has advised that staff are currently engaged in an audit of enclosures that house Bermuda Electric Light Company equipment across the island. A video showing a Liberty staff member at a house asking for the location of a Belco transformer has been shared in a message that is being circulated on social media. Liberty President Wayne Kane said, quote, Liberty are currently engaged in an audit of Belco's infrastructure across the island to ensure it is safe for customers. I can confirm that the gentleman in the video is part of the team working under his contract of employment. This is certainly a teachable moment for us with lessons to be learned. We are currently assessing our protocols and will adjust as necessary to ensure a similar incident doesn't occur in future. We apologize to the employee as well as the homeowner for any confusion that may have occurred. We can and will do better going forward. So let's go to the comments real quickly. Kenton Trott, he says, in every experience, there are learning lessons. I think we can all learn from this incident. Communication is key. David Michael R. Wilson, Sherry.
Given that there was a letter sent out in July, people should have at least have had a heads up. Likewise, the individual also said that there was more to it than just the short video.
And Sam Cat Place says people should allow police to do their job. Belco should have sent something out, and the person who sent the video should be scolded. Regardless of the home invasion and a few weeks ago, at the end of the day, he gave her proof of what he needed, so let him do his job, shaking my head. And she goes on to say, July is a long way away. Nachika Trot said they should have placed a notice on the monthly bill. James Burchin, Headley, and Stevens.
Yes, these situations can quickly get out of control, leading to vigilantism.
Vigilante justice, yeah.
What is considered properly dressed? Suit and tie?
Well, I wanted to touch on that, but go ahead, Sherry.
No, I was gonna say at the same token, like Sam Cat was saying, or I think James, somebody was saying, indicating that they should have put something in a monthly bill. Now, who truly does look at the bills in depth like that? We look at a number, we get mad, and then we try to move on. You know what I mean? So maybe using social media to do is as quickly as this went around, send around a letter, post it in your Facebook page, something that can, you can do it month after month after month to indicate that. Send it out to the newspaper or something like that.
Well, to her question about properly dressed, to the comment that you made, I'll say this much. I think what I would say in terms of how your presentation is, I would think it's on the onus of Belco or the company the person's working for when going to people's houses to have something that can identify them, right? So a shirt that says Belco or IMF on behalf of Belco. That's what I would mean by properly dressed, because as far as properly dressed, I wouldn't apply or work for anyone that tells me I have to wear a suit and tie at this time of my life and the space we're living in. So I think that's a fair question, but I think something to identify the worker is only fair. Nicole Walker says, yes, all three parties made poor choices. Belco should have distributed a reminder. July was a while ago. How do we know the letter is still valid in December? Valid. Like, then again, it's Bermuda, so things take a long time to happen. But come on, July, you would have probably thought that was over and done. Right?
Yeah.
We're almost into 2022. Nikki Michelle says the onus is on Belco. Employees need to be clearly identified as such. Today's climate means that people are on a high suspicion, as men previously have attempted to enter homes in Bermuda. We have seen the Ring camera footage. And again, and that's why I'm saying I think it's on all sides. I feel for the guy, because as a Black man, this is stuff that we have to deal with. But it doesn't help when we have people out here, again, 3 weeks ago, an elderly woman dealt with a home invasion, right? We it's easy to say that it was Karen behavior, this person running straight to social media, right? It's easy to say that, right? But at the same time, is her behavior justified based on what has happened in recent times? No. That said, there's a thin line. We have to be careful. Do we contact the police? Do we contact Belco? Or do we run straight to social media? If you filed this police report, it's obvious that you don't trust the police to do their job if you're still sending out a WhatsApp or social media post. Mind you, it could have been sent to someone like a friend, right? And they sent it around, right? But again, folks, should people be running to social media or just wait and allow the police to do their jobs? Renee, Charlene, Simmons, Sherry.
All the above, Jamal. In these times, people are cautious, but at the same time, the employee felt like his character has been damaged by the video going viral. In the end, the company publicly apologize to both the employee and the resident. Rightfully so, especially for the employee, but Liberty need to implement the correct protocols to avoid this happening again.
Mm, mm,
And I just think, I don't know. I just it's a lot,
mm,
And again, the still question is, did she go to the police first
mm,
and then do social media, or did she do social media first and
mm.
then social media? Did she go to the police at all? Because nobody's produced a report or
Yeah,
said that seeing one,
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
was it
interesting.
current behavior?
It's interesting, and maybe we can ask the police, but I did not see anything come across, saying that there was a police report filed, and you know, maybe there was, and the police told her right away, "Oh no, this is Balco is actually doing something." So we just don't know. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Was she trying to do a service to the community and friends or neighbors by letting them know that this was happening, and then it got out of control and went this way? And shared the video. I mean, maybe she was trying to be a helpful citizen and it went all wrong and caused somewhat heartache and whatnot. Hadley and Stevenson Swan says this is the epitome of defamation of character.
And I was going to say the bigger picture is at the end of the day, this young man's character
Mm-hmm.
has been put out there.
Yeah.
And should we run to social media first? No. I
No.
think you should check all of these boxes. And then if you feel like it, then that's a whole nother thing. But the
Mm-hmm.
backlash of this is it's not cool for him. That's not
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah, and the Chico Trot says he should have had on a company logo, attire, shirt, jacket, etc. Well, again, Sam Cat Play says first to report syndrome, Jamal. That's what it was, and we do have a culture of wanting to be first, breaking and this and that. But I do say that this is a learning lesson. I agree that a company logo or some sort of attire, uniform, this is the purpose of uniforms, right? When you go out, if someone knocks on your door from Infinity or Comcast or Digicel, you probably would want to identify them by what they're wearing, right? Or the truck that's in the yard, right? From what I understood, it looked like he had personal vehicle. He was riding a bike, right? So there are things that we can do better to avoid situations like this. This was unfortunate, extremely unfortunate, and I honestly feel for the young man more than anyone in this situation.
Yeah, I have still two sides to it. The American living in me says, on a personal vehicle, even with a logo shirt, he could have got that from Goodwill or, somewhere in Bermuda and still pose as something else. But the other side of me says, I don't feel like his behavior indicated that it was something of suspicion. Now, again, should she have double checked and was making sure she was secure in what it is? Yes. Yes, she has that right to do that. But should we have gone to social media with it? No.
Yeah.
Not if there was no validity to it.
Yeah. And again, and let's be clear, as Sherry and I have stated, she could have just shared it with a friend or neighbors, and that's how it went viral. We don't know. But at the end of the day, we have a problem. We have a problem. There was a home invasion of an elderly person. We have a problem where, in the opinion based on the report and press release that was released by Liberty, Balco, I think they were in the wrong as well. If they believed that a press release from July was still sufficient today, if they believe that allowing a contract worker to go to someone's home, no company vehicle, no attire that pinpoints who he is, right? I think that's an issue in itself. Yes, Rashida's asking, did she call Balco to confirm? And according to the note that I read, it does say that she said, let me go back to it. Balco informed us that he does not work for them and we filed a police report, she said. Well, she's correct in that, because if you remember what Wayne Keynes, the CEO, said, he said basically the gentleman, part of his team are working under his contract of employment. So he's under contract. So if IMF or IFM, whatever they're called, they're contracted. So technically he doesn't work. He's not employed by Balco. So he's not employed by Balco. He works for the company that's contracted by Balco. It's a tough situation. It's a confusing one. As a small community, we need to do better with this. And the Chico Trot at this point, maybe we should release the entire video. Well, there are people saying, what does the entire video say?
Mm. Release the receipts, Jamal.
Yeah. Folks, look, I'll say this much. I think all three parties, and I'm not putting as much blame on the young man. Hear me
Right.
out. All three parties can learn something from this, but entirely the community can learn a lot from this. Not that some people care, but young black men, when you are out there doing things in the community, you're making it harder for black men who are out there trying to make a living for them and their families.
Say that again, Jamal.
Seriously, we've
Mm-hmm.
got to do better. And this goes to the mothers, the grandmothers, the aunties, the brothers, the sisters, the godparents. In order for Bermuda to be a safer place where people can do their job, go knock on someone's door. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. Falcone could have done better with the communication. I do agree that maybe some sort of company vehicle or attire would help. And I do agree that maybe this lady could have went about it a different way. But this is a deep-rooted issue in our community that goes beyond the result of what we saw on video and what's
Yeah.
being shared via WhatsApp. Let's go to two more comments before we bring Leanna in. Kenton Trott says, for the information of the viewers, individuals posting videos on social media of people suspected of crimes actually does more harm than good. If you suspect a crime or suspicious incident has occurred, please contact the BPS and share the video with the police. It's so easy. It's so easy. Thank
Now
you.
that's it.
Rashida Godwin says, seems that that's where the ball was dropped, with miscommunication and giving misinformation. Kenton Trott also goes on to say, allowing the police to conduct proper investigations, inclusive of reviewing the video footage, is the best way to help and get the matter resolved. On that note, let's bring Liana into the conversation. Good morning, Lee. How are you, sister?
Good morning. Good
Hi,
morning. I'm
Lee.
doing great this morning. Feeling good, feeling rested, and ready for a great day.
All
Been
All
right,
right.
listening to my
now.
motivational music this morning, been
All
dancing
right.
around, getting that blood flowing, energy pumped.
Yes.
I'm
We,
ready.
we need videos of just dancing around and
No, no,
stuff.
no, 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 no.
Yeah, because
Just a little proof. We, it's
let
been
them watch it from her.
it's quite a convo this morning. I'm sure you'll be discussing it in your news break, but
I will
very
be
unfortunate. Very
very.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's get over to your news break and dance your way into it, lady. We need proof.
Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and good morning to all of those who are tuned in with us today on this thankful Thursday. I hope you all are having a great start to the day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. In today's top stories, it's been on the agenda for quite some time, but it looks like the island might be on its way to receiving its first electric buses, which are expected to hit the roads next April. 30 buses are to arrive from China on 3 shipments over the next few weeks, Minister of Transport Lawrence Scott revealed at a press conference yesterday. Now, they were manufactured by the Golden Dragon Bus Company in China. He explained that commissioning the new buses and training staff meant that they would be expected to go into service next spring. He said that the Department of Public Transport will be recruiting additional bus operators, which will ensure that we have the resources required to provide a reliable and consistent bus service. Now, it will take 10 years to transition the entire fleet over to electric buses, he said. The island needs 88 buses to have a safe, reliable, and consistent fleet. We currently have 51, and the 30 will be closer to the 88. In other news, Balco's parent company, Liberty, as we've discussed, has issued an apology for a video circulating on social media by a homeowner warning residents to be vigilant of a person who they believe was falsely carrying out Balco inspections. Now, the 38-second video, which shows a young man trying to locate a transformer while talking to the homeowner, spread like wildfire on chat groups with a message warning the public that he was not following Balco safety protocols. that Balco had informed them he wasn't a service representative and that they had filed a police report. Now, the company sought to dispel the allegations, taking full responsibility for the misunderstanding. In a press statement, CEO Wayne Kane said that the company had outsourced certain services to IMF to conduct infrastructure audits around the island to ensure they are safe for customers. He further confirmed that the man was a part of the team and claimed the incident to be a teachable moment, saying they will be assessing protocols going forward to ensure an incident of this nature does not happen again. Meanwhile, mass phase of vaccinations campaign is to come to an end, according to Minister of Health Kim Wilson. Now, in the new year, she says vaccinations and boosters will transition to other outlets on an appointment basis only. Minister Wilson has encouraged everyone who is eligible for a first, second, or booster jab to get it before Christmas. The last clinic at KEMH will be held on the 22nd of December and at Pier 6 at the Hamilton Health Center on December 23rd. And Bermudian cricketers Kamal Lavrock and Dalray Rollins, along with their Florida Scorpion teammates, are back in action today to continue their comfortable start at the U.S. Open Cricket T20 tournament in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, the Scorpions will face Titans Cricket Club in their second Group B match at the Central Broward Regional Park. The two teams have endured fluctuating fortunes at the tournament thus far. The Scorpions cruised to a comfortable 8-wicket win over Clarion County Eagles in a match reduced to 15 overs due to rain in their tournament opener, and we wish them all the best today. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 73 and a low near 63 degrees. It will be a cloudy start with a few morning showers, but bright skies will appear toward the afternoon with occasional strong winds and showers accompanied by a cold front moving over our area by midday. Now, settled weather is then expected for a few days thereafter. Tonight will be partly cloudy with winds northwesterly to moderate. That's all for our daily hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's daily focus.
All right, Lee. So I just heard a rumor that though you can't boil water, you are pretending to cook on some video or something. What's this video I'm hearing about? That's what I was told. That's what I was told.
Got him, Lee.
I didn't. I'm just repeating what I was told. I didn't say nothing like that.
Didn't your mama tell you shouldn't repeat everything you?
No, Sherry, this is it. We were just talking about false things circulating on our island. This is what you're coming at with me at?
And the things that I'm seeing, and I have yet to produce videos on Liana in regards to anything.
Okay, Sherry.
So you have something on Lee? Hit me up.
No.
Okay. And that's our cue. Bye, Liana. Have a great day. Thank you.
Lee, have a wonderful day. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Again, thanks to Liana for that news break. I know not of this video that is going around. Lee operates in silence, folks. She does her thing, players. She's all over the place. So you got to keep your eyes out. Kenton Trott, thanks again for his contribution this morning. He is an inspector on the Bermuda Police Service, so he is coming from a place of understanding. But Nikki Michelle actually does make a great point, which I asked earlier. She says, Kenton Trott, this makes the assumption that there is a general trust of the police. And I did mention earlier that maybe, the lady filed the police report, doesn't trust the police.
Yeah.
It could be that, but I don't know. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the Minister of Youth, Sport, and Culture, Dr. Ernest Peets. Do not go anywhere. Should be a good conversation. National Youth Plan.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors, and not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
John Barrett & Son, Bermuda's foremost distributor of fine beverages, is bringing on the joyful festivities this winter with Barrett Stone Ginger Beer. We've extolled the virtues of this traditional Bermudian drink before. It's refreshing and spicy and wonderful in the kitchen. Google cooking with ginger beer and you'll be amazed by the diversity and wow factor of the recipes. As our good friend Bruce Barrett says, bubbly, tasty, full of spice, refreshing and exciting. When it hits your taste buds, mate, full flavor is igniting. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Let's bring in our guest for the day, good friend over there, Dr. Ernest Peets. He is the Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport. I think I've got that right. Good morning, Dr. Peets. Is that correct? Youth, Culture, Sport?
That is absolutely correct.
All right. See, look, titles, man, they're long these days. Welcome to the show. First time being here. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Since we're on your title, just before we get into the conversation, what does your ministry oversee in detail beyond the title?
Yeah, okay. I can certainly do that. Of course, government ministries sometimes shift and change as government administrations try to, find better synergies. Currently, the way this ministry is organized, the minister is responsible for youth and sport. That will be what we call YSR. And the director over there is Norbert Simons. Underneath youth and sport, there's also the community centers, the one in St. George's, the one on Anglo Street, and the one in the West End. Those people will be familiar with the youth center, as well as the summer camps in which they run. Mm-hmm. We also have the National Sports Center under our remit as well as parish councils, and of course, last but not least, Department of Culture.
Gotcha. It is a lot to go over.
It's a pretty big ministry, actually.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
But a lot of good stuff in there, and a lot of the stuff that most people like myself find fun, especially sports, culture, and obviously youth. You're here today to talk about the National Youth Policy. Speak to us about that. What is it?
Yeah, so I'm really, really glad. I do apologize for the lighting here in the office. Mm-hmm. And those of you who are not Arsenal fans, I'm not going to offer any apologies. I'm alone.
Wow.
Well, I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you to your audience. You guys have a fantastic show. So I'm really, really glad this morning just to lend my voice a little bit to the National Youth Policy. This particular policy has been sitting in draft form for a number of years. So we're certainly pleased this year, particularly as a minister and as a representative in Camden, to really help the ministry, particularly the Department of Youth and Sport, to finally get this particular policy across the finish line. Just a little background history, in 2017, this particular policy sort of picked up a little bit of steam. We went through some consultation. I wasn't the minister then. I kind of came in at the last minute. But in 2020 and 2021, we really had an opportunity to finalize that product and then bring it to cabinet for approval. There was some wide consultation over the years with a wide range of stakeholders, and they came up with 8 policy goals. And you can find those policy goals on the website, which is youthpolicy.bm. Mm-hmm. The first one is to keep young people safe and protected from harm. Mm-hmm. The second is to achieve full potential in learning, development, and education. Thirdly, to minimize antisocial behavior. Fourth, to increase employment and entrepreneurship opportunities. Fifth, to engage youth in sport, culture, and recreation. Mm-hmm. Sixth, to support young people to be active and healthy. Enable participation in civic engagement was number 7. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, encourage diversity and inclusion. Mm. So as they took all that information from all the consultation and all of their research, that kind of distilled all that down into these broad 8 policy goals.
Mm. Well, let me ask you, why, and that's a lot. You just went through a lot, but Why do you feel it's so necessary to have this national youth policy? Why is it necessary?
Well, obviously, one of the things that's important, for a country is to have some type of idea and some guardrails and some visions and some policies around what we really value regarding our youth. Because the future in which we're building, the youth are the one who are going to be inheriting that.
Mm,
And if we can find ways to instill these types of policy goals and these types of visions for our youth now, it can really, really help us not only in the short term, but also in the long term as it relates to building our economy, having a stable society and civil engagement. And one of the things that's important for us, of course, is there are lots of individuals out there and organizations individually doing a lot of good work with youth. But in a large part of that is actually still working in silos.
mm,
And what we really want to do is be able to have, a national policy around youth so that we can actually bring all those individual programs, all those hardworking individuals who are engaging youth in whatever discipline and whatever manner in which they're doing it, to bring that under sort of one umbrella, if you will, so that the left hand knows what the right hand is doing, so that we can properly allocate resources, so that we can have some minimum standards in place as it relates to engagement with youth.
mm.
Hi, Dr. Peets. Nice seeing
Hey,
you
good to see you.
again. Nice to see you again. Now, we see that this policy has 8 goals.
Yeah.
And how does the ministry plan to achieve those goals? That's a big task there.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is learn from our history. We are not going to put together a committee. We're not going to put together a board. What we decided, and we purposely called this group a working group. So we're tasked now that we've got the policy in place. Now we want to move from a policy that sits on a shelf, maybe sits in a nice glossy pamphlet. Now we want to actually see that policy actually take root and take action. That's going to require the working group rather than a board or a committee. We want these individuals to understand if you're going to be on this working group, then your job is solely not to talk about issues, not to debate issues, but to really get down to the meat and to the work of actually implementing these policy goals to ensure that we are meeting these issues that are so important for the protection of our youth. So we have a sign up. Persons can go online to the youthpolicy.bm, click on the link that says, join the working group. There is an application process there. Fill in your information, submit it. The application closes, I believe, on December 17th. From there, that we would like to sit down and sort of sift through all of the applications that we've gotten, put together a working group, agree on the terms of reference, and have that working group go to work in February of 2022.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So
Putting some real.
don't apply if you're only interested on padding your resume. This is not a board where you just sit on a board and just chit chat for an hour once a month. We really want to get to the business of getting down to work.
Well, put that out there, Dr. Peets. Now, with all the 8 goals that you've just indicated, which goal does the ministry plan to address and focus on first, and why?
Well, the first thing that we have to do is get a really good assessment on, where we are as a nation, where we are as a country. There is some work being done in each of these categories already. Sometimes within government, like for example, I know in the Ministry of Workforce Development, they're working on some stuff as it relates to supporting young people around education, entrepreneurship, and those opportunities. But there are other non-government agencies that are also involved in some of these policy goals. So we have to make first of all, a good assessment of what's going on in the country, who's doing it, what that assessment looks like as it relates to resources, where they are, how those things align with the youth policy, and then begin to support those individuals and those agencies so that those programs become solidified, funded properly, And of course, they will go through some type of evaluation to ensure that they're meeting national or international standards.
Okay. So we've talked about the different girls and why, and we've also spoken about the anti-social behaviors, gang violence, and you talked about entrepreneurships, all of those kind of things. What are the trends that you have seen that need to be addressed before they get worse?
Well, there are lots of things. Of course, this last 18, 24 months have been extremely difficult for us as a country. I could imagine as an adult, things have been very, very stressful, but I have resources. I would imagine for a lot of our young people who probably have less resources than we as adults really have been really, really affected by COVID. And perhaps it may be years to come before we actually understand the true impact that this COVID pandemic has had on us as a people, psychologically, emotionally, educationally. It doesn't really matter because COVID has impacted every aspect of our culture and our society. But as it relates to, some of the things that we see that are going on with our youth now, we certainly have to pay attention to the pieces of our youth policy that have some immediate short-term need, particularly around antisocial behavior, particularly around education, and particularly around mental health. So we certainly have to focus our resources on that. And as we get more information, of course, I would like to have as much hands-on involvement in the initial working of the working group in the first couple of months, because I really, really am passionate and believe in this work.
In saying that, and you talk about the working group, if you didn't want to be a part of the working group, how can the community get involved in regards to the policy and assisting the ministry in their
Yep.
goals for these policies?
Well, there are a couple of ways. There's the easiest way, which is indirect, is if you are familiar with an agency or a department or an individual who is going to be participating in the working group, align yourself with them, volunteer with them and support them. That's a great way, that you can sort of indirectly, be able to assist those individuals who are directly involved in the work. If you are engaged in charitable and volunteering, there's an opportunity for you to actually participate in the work the working group is doing as well through your community and volunteering work. Otherwise than that, we are great as relates to being open to receive information. So if you want to submit information to the working group or to the ministry as it relates to things that you have found or seen, and you want to send that information over to us because you think that might be helpful for us to have as a resource, or at least us to sort of discuss and talk about, then send that information over. We'll love to be able to receive it.
All right. If you have any questions or comments for the minister, please send them through. I'll get through as many as possible. But I want to go back to something you said, because this used to annoy me about particular people in Bermuda. And I'm not going to be shy about this. But when you said basically resume pattern, it's like stat pattern in sports, right? It's like, the game's already won or lost, but you're trying to get this triple double. So you're just adding some assists to your resume, whatnot. I agree with that. And I encourage people to really take that to heart at this point. Like, we don't need people who are there to see what they can get out of it. This is a plan to better the community, not get you a better position or job. Like, if you're really into helping, this is what it's about. So thank you for making note of that. Let's go to the audience. Karen Simmons says, where can the youth policy be assessed to review, asking as a youth worker? I know you spoke about where it can be accessed earlier, but just a reminder for those who may not have heard.
Yeah, the policy in brief can be downloaded by PDF from the youthpolicy.bm website, or you can contact Youth in Sport directly, but it's available online, and it's a public document at the moment.
All righty. And Chica Trotz, she's asking, one of the National Youth Plan objectives is to engage youth in sport, culture, and recreation. What action plans are there to determine if and how this objective is achieved? Will the starting data be available to the public and again in incremental cycles?
Yeah, so the first part that the working group has to do is actually do a thorough type of assessment. The policy bill, of course, says we want to make sure that youth are engaging in sport, culture, and recreation. So we kind of have to figure out, well, what is the current level of engagement in sport, culture, and recreation? What are some of the impediments? What are some of the resources that they need? Once the working group is able to sort of get a good assessment on what that looks like, then they're going to be tasked with, okay, well, let's now build a bridge to get from point A to point B. The other part, of course, then it comes down to resources and financing. So once they're able to assess what the actual need is or where the gaps of services are, then we can make a more intelligent decisions and application to the ministry and by extension to the government on where our funding should go and why that funding should go in that particular area for this particular reason.
And off topic a bit, so it was public, so I can call his name, but on a Pure Sports Radio group the other day, Alan Young had made a post and pretty much basically saying government, instead of just giving funding, needs to create an actual plan, and that plan would be how is the money being used, what are the results of the money that was given. When it comes to giving money to sports clubs and so on, what is the criteria? Do they have to meet certain criteria to get funding from government? And if they get funding, are there any measurables once they do?
Yeah, so the way that we've been giving money over the last 20, 30 years, we've certainly gotten a lot better at that as a government and as a country. So what you have seen, at least from my point of view, over the last 10 years or so, is this steady sort of evolution of ensuring that there are key performance indicators, for example, and a good matrix of indicators so that we can ensure and determine with some level of comfortability that as we're doing grants and giving money away, that is actually, those resources are being used in the manner in which we certainly would want them to be used for as relates to some of the goals that we're working on. So we now have a national sporting governing bodies constitution that's been set up, and that's been in place now for a number of years. Youth in Sport have a very robust application process as relates to making sure that they're vetting the applications. So I'm really happy with that. Going forward, of course, now that we've had Flora Duffy win a gold medal, and you guys have seen in Throne Speech, the appetite for those types of things have certainly grown for us. And we certainly want to be able to replicate her success, not just in triathlon, but across sports. We're going to have to start moving from sort of a recreational sort of philosophical mindset around sport to a more professional mindset around sport, and that's going to require a little bit of a paradigm shift, as well as making some changes to how we actually resource ourselves.
All righty. Got another question. Karen Simmons asking, National Youth Policy, what is the age range that this plan targets?
Right. So that was actually a little bit of debate in the beginning because, we have to define what youth is, so there's early childhood, then there's, childhood, youth, and then there's adolescence and so on and so forth. So the upper age, of course, is going to be 20, 24. And the lower age will be 12 to 14.
Okay. This is interesting.
So you're talking about sort of like middle school upwards.
Okay. This is great. Dr. Peets, anything else you want to just say to the people before you head out? Like just remind them where they can go for more information, the website and so on.
Well, thank you. So please, the 17th is a hard deadline for us. We certainly have a lot of work to do over the Christmas holiday to vet the applications. I'm grateful at the moment that there seems to be a lot of interest in the youth policy. So please go to youthpolicy.bm, take a look at the website, read through the information. If you think you're interested, hit the application button, submit an application. If you're not interested in getting involved directly into the working plan, but you know of somebody or you know of an agency or community group that will be a good asset for the working group, forward the link to them so that they can fill out the information. so that we can get the best people possible involved in the working group. And I'll be glad to come back in early of 2022 and give your listening audience an update on the composition of the working group.
Appreciate it, Dr. Ernest Peets, Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport. Appreciate you stopping by and sharing this information. And hopefully this is a great program that gives a lot of Bermudians a great start. Enjoy the holidays. All the best to you and your family.
Thank you. Much appreciate it.
Nice seeing you. Okay,
got a new team as well, Arsenal.
Yeah, my team needs a little bit of help right now.
All right, Dr. Ernest Peets, if you appreciated the information in that conversation, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. As Chica Trot has shown, this is the application. You can go to forms.gov.bm/youth-policy-working-group. So check that out on Facebook. We're going to take a quick break, play the movement moment, then take our commercial break, and we'll be back with our Christmas trivia.
Welcome to this movement moment brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Together, we can illuminate your path to wellness.
Welcome to today's movement moment with Tamara Donnell, brought to you by People's. Tamara, what are we discussing today?
Good morning, Jamal, and good morning to your listening audience. We are carrying on with our horoscope of power. Honor, the power of legacy is our focus for October. One of my favorite books to read has been The 4 Agreements. Now, I cannot remember all 4 off the top of my head, but the agreement that stands out most to me is an honorable one, and that is to be impeccable with your words. Being impeccable with your words does not just mean your words to other people. For me, it includes being impeccable with my words to myself. Words have power and words matter. That's a mantra I repeat over and over. It's also a 2-part agreement. Always keep your promises, but also only make promises you can keep. Thank you for tuning into this movement moment. To enjoy the benefits of the full episode, check us at Instagram at MVMT with Tamara Donnell or at People's BDA.
Only make promises you can keep. We'll be right back.
Hi, Bermuda. As the festive season is upon us, I'm back again to remind you to shop local. Local retailers are filling their shelves with gifts and goodies for all of our holiday needs. And to make shopping even more exciting, you can play our holiday scratch and win at participating retailers. There's great prizes to be won, so shop local and have some fun. Scratch the card, and if you see 3 matching center bags, turn that card over and scratch to see what you have won. Have fun, Bermuda, and remember to shop locally this holiday season.
Bermuda, Mariah Carey is defrosting as we speak, and Christmas in the city will soon be upon us. The city of Hamilton invites you to the biggest pajama party you could dream of at the Fresh Air Films Drive-In movie series, December 10th to the 12th, on the top level of Bull's Head Car Park. Load up the car and come out in your favorite snuggly pajamas for doubleheaders of Christmas movie classics, treats, and prize giveaways. Physical distance and mask wearing required. Present a receipt from any city retail business between November 12th and December 12th, valued at $35 or more to gain entry. This Christmas, make your holiday memories in the city of Hamilton.
Hamilton, Bermuda at its best.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0, great taste, no alcohol. Thanks again to One Communications, Linda's Medical House, and People's Pharmacy. And thanks again to the Minister, Dr. Ernest Peets. If you appreciate that conversation, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and don't forget to retweet and reshare these kinds of conversations that are important and helpful for our community. Sherry, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What country refers to the infant Jesus as Bambino?
What, Jamal? Didn't we say Bethlehem? I don't know. Wait.
Bethlehem's a country. Help her out.
No,
folks.
I know.
Help her out, folks. See if anyone knows this.
I don't know.
I'll read again. Nope, not Mexico. Not Mexico. All right, I'll read it one more time. Let's see. I mean, no one knows this. What Oh, someone else said Mexico. No, it's not Mexico. Someone got it. And someone got it. Italy.
Ah,
Italians refer to infant Jesus as bambino.
I
You
definitely.
understand? Someone else got Italy.
Marcia,
Yeah, some people know it, Sherry. I don't
my
know.
sister.
So one
I
sister.
didn't hear that question properly. I
Oh,
really didn't take that in. I
oh, is
didn't
that
take it
what
in.
happened? That's what happened?
Yeah, that didn't process well.
Oh,
So,
okay. All right. So
next question.
she didn't hear it properly, folks. She didn't hear it, but we'll give her a pass. What are your thoughts on today's conversation discussion period?
You know, the discussion that we had, all three entities had somewhat of a role in it. I do feel like it's unfortunate for the young man in some aspect, and we just have to look at if all of these things allegedly occurred in the context that it said,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And if we're not sure about something before we go ahead and put something on social media, let's be clear on what that is. And if someone has sent something to you, you know, you have to be very careful of who you share that with.
mm.
Jamal will tell you, I'll delete, a voice note with a quickness.
Yeah, she deletes voice notes when she says how much she misses me or something, or how much she likes us working together. She does, yeah. She deletes them, folks. Don't
No
worry.
receipts. But also, sharing with Dr. Peets in regards to the National Youth Policy, it's very important. I like the idea of the working group, not just a commun- committee or a board or anything like that, really putting some work in for what we need for our youth.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree. There, especially for the first part, the discussion, and I agree with you know, Inspector Kenton Trott regarding it's a learning lesson. This is a learning
Yes.
lesson. All three parties, as you just mentioned, could have and should do better going forward. We have a problem in our community. It's one where we have people doing some bad things. We have one where people may not trust the police. And we have one where we really need to do better from a communication standpoint if we're relying on something that was sent out in July to mean something in December, right?
All right.
So I feel for the gentleman. I'm not quite sure an apology is enough, but hopefully, the lady, makes an apology, reaches out to him personally, apologizes, and hopefully his company and the company that his company is working for show some respect and apologize as well. Sorry doesn't change anything, but
Mm-mm.
it at least shows sincerity that you know what, we got it wrong.
And I hope
Um,
she forwards that message.
Absolutely. Her apology forwards that as well. As reference to Dr. Peets, I look, when it comes to government and money spending, I'm very iffy. But we've seen so many different plans over the years, from education to sport and culture and so on. And all it seems to be is plans, plans, plans. But I do like the fact that he said, this is not a committee or working group, and we're not looking for stat patters or people to just put something on their resume. Too
Mhm.
often you see people joining organizations to look good, not to actually assist and make things better. That's been one of my pet peeves. Like, my good friend and mentor Larry Marshall Sr. used to always say, "Yep, they'll be running in politics soon." I said, "Yep." Once you start seeing volunteering all over the place and
Mm.
doing all these charity events, that's the recipe for a political career or personal growth. It's never really about doing what's in the best interest of the people or the community that you're working for. So I
Yeah.
appreciated that by Dr. Peets. Sherry, I know you've got some daily inspiration for us.
I do, and I have a birthday shout out to one of my best friends, Shawnette Lewis. She hates when I call her
Right?
that, aka Shawnee 49 and fine.
There you go.
But
Happy
our
birthday.
inspiration for today is I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And that's
I
from
like that.
Thomas A. Edison.
It's never failure. You've just found ways that don't work. Keep going, keep
Hmm.
going, keep going. What they say about sales, you can contact 100 people and only 1 to 3 may say yes or even respond. Happy
Yeah.
birthday to Shawnette. A big shout out to my mother, Darlene Hartman, Mama Hartman. thinking
Mama
about you. And
Hartman.
we unfortunately must come to this place where we say thanks again to our partners, Medical House One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we were to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, please do make it a great day. We're out. Peace.